I invited them over for BBQs, helped fix their water heater. When my wife gave birth, I asked for quiet during her recovery. We pay the same taxes, deal with it, they said as music blared through the walls. 1 month later, the HOA called them in over something I quietly reported. I live in a suburb just outside Fort Collins, Colorado. Quiet, middle-class area. HOA-run, cookie-cutter houses, speed bumps every few blocks. The kind of place where everyone thinks they're friends just because they wave when they pull out of their driveway. My wife Lauren and I bought our house 5 years ago. It was a fixer-upper, but we made it ours. We redid the kitchen, replaced the fence ourselves, planted a little maple tree in the front yard. Lauren is a school counselor. I work in IT support from home. We're not flashy people, but we put in the work. We care about where we live. The house next door was vacant for a while. Then, about a year ago, a U-Haul pulled up. A young couple, maybe late 20s, moved in. Kyle and Megan. They looked like the kind of people you see in CrossFit ads. Kyle had that backward hat energy. Always shirtless. Always loud. Megan was polite, kind of distant, but she smiled when she saw you. They moved in the week before July 4th. I introduced myself while they were unloading. Even helped Kyle lift his washer into the garage. He grunted something that could have been thanks. Over that weekend, I dropped off a cooler of beers and offered to have them over. First time they came by, they brought some local IPA and awkward conversation. But I didn't mind. Everyone's stiff at first. A couple months in, I got a knock at 10 p.m. Kyle locked himself out. I let him in through our side gate, so he could get to his backyard. After that, we got more friendly. I helped him with his garbage disposal once, and then later his water heater. We weren't best friends or anything, but we were neighbor close. They even brought us a little gift basket when Lauren got pregnant. I thought it was genuine. Lauren had a rough go. She was on modified bed rest for the last 2 months. Swollen ankles. Constant headaches. I picked up everything: meals, errands, work. She was in and out of the ER twice with blood pressure spikes. The doctors were worried about preeclampsia. Every time I heard her groan, I panicked. Grace was born early April. Emergency C-section. Lauren was in pain, Grace had reflux. Our house became a 24-hour newborn battleground. Every bit of rest we got came in tiny, precious pieces. We were fragile. Both of us. The first day the music started, I thought it was just bad timing. Maybe a Friday night thing. Bass heavy, vibrating through our walls like a second heartbeat. I stood in the nursery, rocking Grace, watching her eyelids twitch every time the sound dropped. She screamed for 2 hours that night. Next day, same thing. This time it started before lunch. By late afternoon, Lauren was near tears. Her stitches were pulling, her head pounding. I walked over, trying not to let my anger show. Kyle opened the door, holding a can of hard seltzer. "Hey," I said. "Lauren just got home from the hospital. She had a C-section, and she's really struggling. Do you think you could keep it down a little?" He didn't blink. Didn't even pretend to consider it. "We pay the same taxes you do. Deal with it," he said, and closed the door.
No epalegi. No acknowledgement.
Just that smug little comment and a slammed door. That night, I barely slept. Grace was crying, Lauren was crying, and I was just stuck. I thought maybe it was a one-time thing. Maybe they were drunk. But it kept happening. Every day that week. Bass, yelling, party sounds. I knocked again. No one answered. I texted. Left on read. Left a note. It was on our porch the next morning, crumpled up, torn in half. One night, at 2 a.m., I walked outside and just stood there in the cold, staring at their house. Their windows were dark, but the music was still playing. I felt like a ghost. That's when I remembered something. A few months before they moved in, I went to an HOA meeting about short-term rentals and lease enforcement. They'd had problems with absentee owners renting to anyone. So the HOA passed new rules. Owners had to submit leases for board approval.
No exceptions.
And I remembered overhearing something weird a couple of weeks after Kyle and Megan moved in. A guy parked out front, asking about rent prices, talking to Kyle in the driveway. At the time, I thought maybe they were moving out already.
But now,
I started to think they weren't even the owners. I checked the HOA portal. Nothing about a lease for 27B. Just the name of the owner, someone completely different. I wrote a short email to the HOA board. Hi, I'm a resident next to 27B. Just wanted to check if there's an approved lease on file for the current occupants. I believe they may be renters, but I didn't see any listing in the HOA docs.
no accusations. No complaints.
Just a question. 3 weeks later, a notice showed up on their front door. Bright orange, taped to the glass. I don't know what it said exactly, but I saw Kyle read it, rip it down, and yell, "Unbelievable!" loud enough to echo. The next day, another notice. This one came certified, hand-delivered. Megan looked pale when she picked it up. The music? Dead silent since. But it didn't stop there. The silence after the notices was eerie. Not peaceful, just unnatural. Like something was coiled tight behind those walls. No more bass, no more shouting. Just a heavy quiet that hung between our two houses like fog. I didn't say anything to Lauren at first. I didn't want to involve her. She was finally getting rest, and Grace had started sleeping 3 hours at a time. It felt like we were just beginning to breathe again. But I kept watching. Over the next week, Kyle started parking his truck down the block. Megan stopped jogging with their dog. Actually, the dog disappeared altogether. Lauren asked about it once. I shrugged and said maybe they were visiting family. Then one afternoon, I got home early from work and found Kyle in our backyard. He was standing by the fence line drinking a beer, looking right at our house. "You need something?" I asked. He smiled, that same smug look from before. "Nice day," he said. "Yeah," I replied. It was. He finished his beer and tossed the can into his yard without breaking eye contact. Then he walked off.
No explanation.
No reason for being there. I installed a security camera that night. Motion triggered, wide angle, pointed straight at the fence. A couple nights later, the camera caught someone throwing trash over it. Random stuff, fast food bags, plastic cups. At first, I thought maybe it was just wind, or maybe kids. But then it happened again. And again. Same direction, same time, every night. I downloaded the clips. It was Kyle. Hoodie up, face turned. But the body language was unmistakable. I saved everything. I didn't report it. Not yet. 2 weeks after the HOA notice, a moving truck showed up. Not a big one, just a local rental. They didn't pack much. Kyle carried a mattress out by himself, practically dragging it. Megan looked red-faced and furious. She was yelling at him, something about not telling me it was in the lease, and I don't even know where we're going. I stayed inside, watched from the hallway window. They were gone in 2 hours. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought peace was finally ours. I even started to feel guilty, like maybe I had overreacted. They were jerks, sure, but maybe I'd taken it too far. That feeling didn't last long. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just my name, typed. Inside was a photo, a grainy printout of me standing in our driveway. The date was scrawled on the back in pen. April 12th. The day after I emailed the HOA. No message. No threat. Just that picture. I didn't tell Lauren. I still haven't. I checked the footage from our door camera, nothing from that angle. Whoever took it was standing across the street, out of range. It's been 4 months since then. No more notes, no new neighbors. The house next door is empty again, blinds drawn. The HOA says the owner is reassessing rental options. Some nights I stare at that photo. I don't know what Kyle meant by sending it. I don't know if he's trying to scare me, or just remind me he's not really gone. But I kept the picture. Because now I know exactly what kind of people move in without warning, and how far they'll go when they feel like someone's watching. A month after they moved out, things started happening around the neighborhood. Small stuff, but weird enough to get under my skin. First, someone slashed the tires on 2 cars on our block, both parked on the street overnight. One belonged to an older couple across from us. The other? Ours. Rear passenger side, clean slice, like it was done with a box cutter. I found it the next morning when I was leaving for work. Nothing stolen, no glass broken, just the tire, flat, useless. I filed a report with the police. They shrugged. Could have been a random act, the officer said. Let us know if it happens again. But it didn't feel random. Not with everything else. Then someone reported us to the HOA. I got a violation letter in the mail about our trash cans being left out for extended periods. The photo they included was timestamped 7:03 a.m., just an hour before the trash pickup crew had arrived. It was petty, laughably so. But it wasn't a coincidence. Lauren started noticing things too. Our back gate was left open one morning, even though we never use it. A planter by our front step was knocked over during the night. Once, I came home and found the hose pulled across the lawn, tangled, like someone had tried to trip me up. That's when I remembered the spare key. Months back, before everything turned toxic, we'd exchanged keys, in case of emergency. I never thought much of it, it was something friendly neighbors did. But I never got ours back. I replaced the locks the next day. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I moved the cameras, added another by the gate, one by the front steps, and even one pointing across the street. I set up alerts on my phone. Every night, I checked the footage before bed. And then one night in late July, I saw it. 2:38 a.m. A car pulls up across the street.
No headlights.
A tall figure in a hoodie gets out, walks to our driveway, and stands there. Just stands. Doesn't move. For 2 full minutes. Then he walks back, gets in the car, and leaves.
I zoomed in.
Blurry but the body language, it was him.
Kyle.
I called the police again. This time, I had the footage. They sent someone out, took a statement, said they'd increase patrols. That was it. No follow-up.
No arrest.
But I was done waiting. I remembered Kyle's last name from when we exchanged mail once by mistake. I still had the envelope in a drawer. To Kyle R. Mathers. I started digging. Public records. Court listings. Social media. Anything. And I found something. He had a record. Not violent, but not clean. A restraining order filed against him 3 years back. Ex-girlfriend. Different state. The report mentioned harassment, intimidation, ongoing disturbances. I printed it out. Then I sent it anonymously to the HOA, to the leasing company that owned the property next door, and to a few neighborhood Facebook admins who ran the local watch group. Within a week, the HOA changed their tenant screening policy. They updated the neighborhood guidelines and posted a bulletin about community safety and tenant history verification. Lauren saw it and asked me if I thought it had anything to do with Kyle. I just said, maybe. But I knew. He hadn't just lost his place, he'd lost his second chance at any future rentals in our area. Every HOA board within 5 miles was now quietly on alert. I didn't hear from him again. Not directly. But last week, someone slipped another photo into our mailbox.
No envelope.
Just folded in half. It was Grace, playing on the front porch. From across the street. The date on the back. August 11th, 2 days ago. When I saw the photo of Grace, something inside me snapped. It was one thing for him to mess with me. With our house. Our tires. Our fence. Our sleep. But this was different. This was my daughter. My baby. She was sitting on the porch that day, barefoot, playing with a little blue rubber ball. I remembered it. I was 10 feet away, watering the plants. I never saw anyone. I checked the footage again. Nothing. No car pulled up. No one on the sidewalk. No shadow across the lawn. Which meant the picture had been taken from one of the neighboring homes. And not just any one of the empty ones. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table with the lights off, watching the front yard through the window. I had a baseball bat across my lap. Laura knew something was wrong, but I told her I was just stressed from work. I couldn't bring myself to tell her what I found in the mailbox. The next day, I called the leasing company that managed the property next door. I asked who currently had access to the house. The woman on the phone gave me the runaround at first. But when I mentioned the HOA, the new background policy, and said there were ongoing concerns about former tenants, her tone changed. She admitted they hadn't relisted the house yet. The locks were supposed to have been changed, but they couldn't confirm whether they'd followed up with the locksmith. That was enough for me. I drove to Home Depot, bought a set of smart security lights and 2 more cameras. I installed them around the perimeter of our house, high enough to avoid tampering. Then I went next door. The grass was knee-high. Flyers wedged into the doorframe. I walked around back. The rear fence was cracked open, padlock hanging, broken. I stepped into the backyard. Empty beer cans on the porch. Cigarette butts in a pile by the door. Someone had been using the place. Someone was still using the place. I left, locked the gate behind me, and called the leasing company again. I told them the house was being squatted in. I told them I had footage and would send it to the HOA and the police if they didn't get someone out there immediately. Within an hour, I saw a locksmith van pull up. 2 guys changed the locks, checked the windows, nailed the back gate shut. That night was quiet. 2 days later, Lauren found another envelope in the mailbox. This one had no photo, just a handwritten note. Funny what some people will do for silence.
No signature.
No return address. Just that sentence, in slanted black ink. I installed one final camera, hidden, pointing at the mailbox. I took the note to the police. They opened a case, but I could tell they weren't going to do much. So, I started doing it myself. I tracked every person who parked on our street, ran license plates, logged the times. I created a spreadsheet with notes. I even bought a used dashcam and mounted it in my own mailbox, aimed outward. Every time a car slowed down or someone walked by, I marked it. Then I noticed something. Every week, around 2 a.m., a small gray sedan passed by. Always the same route, north on Jackson, turn right on Beach, pause near our mailbox. I checked the footage over 3 different nights. Same make, same scratch on the driver's door. No plates on the front. The 4th night, I waited in the dark with the dashcam recording. As the car crept past, I stepped outside with my phone camera raised. The driver saw me and gunned it. I didn't get the face, but I got the car. Full view. Rear plates and all. I ran the plate online. Colorado registration. The name on the report? Kyle R. Mathers. He was still in town. He never left. I never told Lauren any of this. Not the photos, not the plate number, not the way I still wake up at 2 a.m. and check the cameras before I even look at the baby monitor. She finally sleeps through the night now. Grace laughs more. The house feels safe again, but I know that's just on the surface. Sometimes I sit on the porch in the dark and wonder how long it'll be before he tries again. Or if he's already watching. And the truth is, I don't even want revenge anymore. I just want to stop feeling like it's coming. Like something's still waiting on the other side of the fence.